In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do sample number 22, which is called a blind hem. So let me show you what you need to get started. So first, as always, you're going to get a template here, and you're just going to need to make sure that you cut it out. And for this one, the grain will go in this direction. So go ahead and, use the top edge or, the side edge here, granted that you cut your paper straight, as a guide for drawing your grain line. And then you'll need to go get some fabric, place this on your fabric, and cut it out. So go ahead and do that. All right, so once you've cut your fabric out, it'll be this width. And go ahead and orient it so it's this way, horizontal direction. I know this piece doesn't really look like that, but basically the first thing you need to do is measure, fold, and iron a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to do another fold, so we're doing a double fold here, and this needs to be 1 inch. So it should look something like this, and you will want to iron it to get it ready for the next step. So let me show you what you're going to need. So for this next part, you are going to need, I don't think you can quite see it, but you are going to need a number 10 foot, and it looks something like this, really wonky. So go ahead and put that on your machine, and let's go take a look. Okay, so I put the number 10 foot on the machine, and you need to set your stitch to number 9. So you'll just press 9, and it should show kind of like sideways vampire teeth. So then that's the correct stitch. And then here is the tricky part. So after you have, done your double fold, and you'll probably want to have this pinned as well, again, to keep it just from slipping and sliding. Face your sample like this so that the fold is on top, as if it were a paper bag that you had folded down. And you push that behind, push that flap behind, and then you roll this front down a little bit. Like that. And that is what actually becomes where you sew, is this right here, this piece. So I'll show you one more time. You have your fabric piece, and you double folded it, and you've pinned it forward like a paper lunch bag. And then while you're holding it like this goes behind, and then this front part gets rolled down just a little bit. And then when you put it up on the machine, you'll notice this foot has like a divider. That divider is a guide, and you want to make sure the entire time you are sewing that that little plate in the middle is touching this edge. And basically what that does is it's going to guarantee that the sewing machine will add a stitch in this part. Because basically the vampire teeth pattern is basically, it sews like a straight line, then all of a sudden it jumps over and it just puts like a little snag in that piece. And then it, it continues a straight line going down, then it adds another little vampire tooth. And basically the whole point is that on this side, there'll just be a bunch of little dots where that vampire tooth snagged, but there'll be so few that you won't really even see them. So let me kind of just show you kind of what the sewing part looks like, just a little bit, and then show you kind of what you're supposed to end up with. So, I did my thing, and then I'm lining up the plate here with this edge. I'm putting the plate down. I have stitch number 9. I go forward, back stitch a little. So now you'll see it starts out by putting a little snag in this top one, then straight line, straight line, straight line, straight, oh, but then it went over on the left here, put a little snag in there, and then back to straight, straight, straight snag, straight, straight. And this whole time, you need to make sure that this is touching the plate. Otherwise, it might end up missing this fabric and it won't put the little snags in there. Okay, so let me show you what I mean now. So yes, you see that it had a straight line here, and then it just barely put a little dot on this one. Straight line, little dot, straight line, little dot. Because then those little dots are barely visible, right? So we have done now essentially a hem, but we made the stitching almost invisible. Almost. The thread is not the same color as the fabric, so obviously that's kind of why you can still see it. But if it were the same color and then I took this to an iron and kind of got these little divots out, you would almost not be able to see it at all. And that is the point, right? The invisible stitch. And this is, this would be on the inside of a garment, most likely a pair of slacks, professional slacks, where you don't want all those seam lines, pair of pants like that. That's the inside. So that is how you do a blind hem stitch with a machine.